are out of work because of ill health when there are lots of people who are out of work for other reasons. There was recently a story about younger people who had no plans at all whatsoever to go into work or to work at any point in their lives. So I'm not sure why they're focusing on the sick, but this story is claiming that those who are on sickness benefits will be able to return to work while still claiming sickness benefits, and will be offered tax breaks for getting jobs for the first couple of years that they're working. And what strikes me about this is so strange, and maybe I'm misunderstanding the story, is that this is supposed to be a reform to deal with our the perverse incentives that people have to stay out of work. But this in itself seems a bit perverse. A government source, as I think many people will be thinking at home, a government source has pointed out that surely this is going to cause resentment for those in work. Surely those who are already working could do with some tax cuts. So I'm not sure how this is going to solve the problem. It seems that this actually might create even more problems, possibly even worse problems in terms of the incentives that they're offering people.
Yeah. So apparently since the pandemic, successful disability claims are up 70%. And the Office for Budget Responsibility has said that as a result of long-term sickness benefits will cost the taxpayers £3.7 billion more than previously estimated this year, rising to £8.2 billion by 2027. How is this a Conservative government, Ed?
I find it absolutely extraordinary. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I find the whole story completely baffling, but I also find the whole issue a complete conundrum. I mean, you're going to pay people extra to get them back to work, potentially alienating those who've been in work and have been working all the way through. Then you're going to come to the point where we don't have enough money to do it, because inevitably we're not going to have enough money to do everything that we're doing anyway. So then you're going to have to pull those benefits, or you're going to have to pay the other ones more, but the minute you do that, the hole gets bigger financially. I don't see a happy ending to this. I mean, I would like to look at it in a slightly different way, although I think this is now just currently sort of dreaming and imagination, is maybe we need to be looking at the whole thing a bit different, like a national mission. I know I'd mentioned climate, but let's keep it general. A national mission for where we want to go as a country, and then engage people with that. Maybe we need to be going to one of the top advertising agencies and saying, look, we need a national mission, we need to be able to communicate it properly and bring everybody on board with us.
Oh, they don't need to go to an advertising agency and spend billions on that, Ed Gemmell. Emma Webb and I could come up with it between us. I'm sure we could.
I'm sure you could.
Work hard, get out of bed in the morning, don't go to work if you're sick. If you are sick, stay at home, but don't expect to be sick and go to work and get sickness benefit.
Common sense.
Honestly.
It sounds like common sense, but we're trying to incentivise it here with billions going one way or the other while we alienate people who are working, which seems very, very difficult to balance.
It does feel like the benefit system is in such a mess. We're just handing out money hand over fist. We've got the highest tax burden in 70 years, hitting all of us in the pockets who are working hard. I have to sort of... I don't know.
And the atmosphere that creates as well, by ramping up taxes so much, it's hardly going to create an economically productive culture, an economically productive environment when people feel that they're working for most of their money to simply be taken away by the government. So younger people, as we were discussing before, with pensions and younger people's attitude towards money, home ownership, starting a family, all of these sorts of things, all of this is disempowering and demotivating. And so, like I said, that story about younger people who just simply don't plan to go into work at all, they should be focusing their energies not on those people who are sick. And apparently this rise in people on benefits has been driven by mental health conditions. Rather than focusing on these people, they should be focusing on creating an economically productive culture, because at the moment, even just COVID, the effect of COVID, people working from home, people deciding to leave their jobs, particularly older people, and to leave the jobs market entirely. The impact of that culturally and psychologically on people is profound.
Seismic. Absolutely seismic. Right, let's talk about Rishi Sunak flying by taxpayer-funded private plane to Leeds for an NHS visit. I promise you, I'm not just looking for stories.